Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review Casper. For those who are unaware of how my channel works, what I do is I do research, I feed it into a model, the model has an output, and reality tells me whether or not the model's output was correct, and I modify the model, hopefully to get better outputs and to correlate the model to a better ROI over time. And this is the model's depiction of Casper Network, and I'll get right into it. Okay, so the summary, what problem, what market does this project currently solve, or what does it serve? It is a high finality with flexibility not available in Byzantine fault tolerant model blockchain L1. Okay, so basically it's a L1, it is a trust computer. It is a web3 environment with a unique consensus algorithm that is not available to Byzantine fault-tolerant models using a highway consensus mechanism based off of Casper technology, which was developed by one of the core Ethereum developers in a paper. I forget what the exact name of the paper is, but it is based on that consensus algorithm. What it does is some of the things that it is capable of doing is it has predictable network fees, which is important. Because if you're a business and you want to know your operating expenses and things like that, having predictable network fees is very important. Upgradable smart contracts, so that is important as well. Ethereum doesn't even have that capability. On-chain governance, privacy, flexibility, developer friendly. It could have public and private components so that you can have businesses doing their logic here and the public doing their logic here, and then communication between the two based on what this group wants in the public or not. It's developer friendly, no scalability trilemma, and not a fork built from the ground up, and it is using that important WebAssembly software or WebAssembly environment. So that's some of the key components of what this thing is. So let's get into the model's prediction on whether or not it will perform well. So future increase in demand was green, which is good. Price FOMO is green. I think that is possible. Regarding the social media aspect, you are not super early with this. It's in the public's eye, but it's not something that's it's not something that you're super early with public awareness. Major upcoming events. Now the roadmap, the main events have already concluded. It's already had mainnet. So it depends on market acquisition. Announcements only work in bull markets anyways. But the major events for their roadmap is basically market acquisition because they have live product right now. So basically upgrades. They're moving to Casper 2.0 in Q3 within the next several quarters. This is each a quarter in the year, a 3-month period. And so about 6 months, maybe 6 months, towards the end of the year, we can expect Casper 2.0, which is going to have side chain. It's just upgrades to the what it's capable of doing, side chains, etc. Low inflation. So it has an inflation rate of 8% per year, but the token holders are in control. The validators are in control of that because it is a proof of stake system. So that shouldn't be an issue because they're going to vote for the issuance rate that they think will optimize the network. So far as token supply distribution, these are somewhat irrelevant because the dividend and movement to PDEs should be expected somewhat due to how the token is tied to it is a proof of stake. So in order to have a voice over this network, in order to be part of this network, you have to be a token holder. Governance can change many of these things in the future because the validators can correlate around an idea and change the protocol as they wish. They have to be token holders in order to do that. So token holders are represented in this protocol. So the income from this, it does go to token holders, and it is a PDE expected from that. Okay, so token used for services in government. Let's get into the actual token model. It is proof of stake, voting power, because you get more control over the validators, slash of collateral for misbehavior. So that's how you get the nodes to behave in a predefined way. Collateral for servicing as validators on-chain fees. Validator-based governance is basically how this works. So yeah, the token has a good token model because it is the token is represented by the platform is represented by the token holders. Now, what is the size of the market? It is extremely large. Permission capabilities by the by the holders. They can decide what permission capabilities they want, as well as private public utility. Now, what is this? Let's just be simple here. It is a general purpose smart contract WASM public blockchain. So that market is huge. I think it's around 400 trillion, even bigger, because this is my personal perspective, that all the world's assets are going to move into the blockchain space. They're going to be managed by these type of systems because they are hacker-proof. They are trust environments, and they allow for robustness to asset movement and programmability. So the market size of the L1s of these general purpose trust computers is probably in the 400 trillion, if not bigger, because all the world's assets are going to move into this realm. And so, yes, I put it as a very large market, and the capabilities of general purpose are quite endless. All right, let's see here. Okay, so the ICO performance, it's only 2x from the ICO. That is good because we don't want any ICO participants to dump on us. So right now is a good time. We are in a bear market, and so the price performance is green because when do we want to enter a project is when it's down. It is down 86% compared to the average crypto of down 25% since its issuance, which was June. This is the performance that is shown so far. So it is negative as far as being compared on the average crypto, but they launched relatively recently, so we'll see that if they capture market share. Now, exponential growth of the niche of its what customers are using it, what people are using it. They have permission services to governance such as China. They have professional service support to Telangana, India, and it's a highly configurable blockchain. So these are all from them. And I do know that they're servicing some components of the Chinese government. Liquidity devs actually looks good. They have 170,000 support for 2% support. So niche servicing a market now. I put that as yes and green, and mainnet is live. So yes, these are all good things. Money needed to move up. Money needed to move price up decreases. I expect that to be the case. Tokens on sell side to decrease. I expect that to be the case. Tokens per person to go down. I expect that to be the case. Network effect looks good. Okay, so let's get into the governance. Casper Labs to make, what is their vision? To make Casper protocol the best smart contract platform to build on. So I guess it's a pretty good vision. They want to be the best one to build on. So that's what you would need to grow and capture market share. As far as how decentralized is this, it is somewhat medium, moving to high decentralization because the Casper Lab has a pretty big influence. They're in Zug, Switzerland, but over time that it'll move to the direction of more. It'll move in the direction of more decentralization as time goes on. Proof of stake can become decentralized as the tokens spread out. Validators decide the future of the protocol. Enhancement proposal process is CEP, like Bitcoin or Ethereum's governance. Validators ultimately decide. So because it's proof of stake, it's more the token holders are in more control than Ethereum and Bitcoin as of right now. So it is extremely important that those who bought in are represented. That is the case because of token proof of stake model. Mechanism of quality, the Casper Labs, being big holders is mechanism quality. Technical group, all these people, the validators are ones to decide network. So all of these things, I think it's a good governance design. It's extremely important that the CEO and the team are high quality. They are. It does require some degree of trust, but not that much. Casper Labs, you do want Casper Labs to keep working in order to get this thing off the ground. Token must be the ultimate control, and it is. High quality actions, I expect that to be the case. So all those things are good with governance. As far as the team, they have experience working with millions of customers and millions of clients. So, with large entities such as Adobe, MP3.com, and Avalara and DivX. So the CTO and the CEO have experience with all these different companies. So they're pretty good. I put them as pretty good. and evidence that they're trustworthy is pretty good because they have all that experience, 30 years plus in those fields with millions of customers. As far as the partners, Fortune 500 companies, according to the team, they said there's some Fortune 500 companies working with them. Hyperledger and Casper working together, IBM, and obviously the government, China partnerships, etc. You could look at my sources if you need to verify where that comes from. It's mostly from them and from the community members talking about these partnerships. So yeah, it looks like the partnerships are good. And, they are trustworthy. All right. So all these things down the line, high value upgrades, developer motivation, developer experience, and, like all those things, all the developer components look to be good. Value services to increase, I expect that to be the case. User experience to get it better, I expect that to be the case. So all these things look good. Moat, everybody that they onboard will stay within their system. Flywheel will be affected. Flywheel is, like once you get momentum, will the momentum keep compounding? So I think that will be the case. So it is a good option of the competition. It is not a first mover. It is not a first mover. That is one of the more negative things. Large business models that demand the token. I think that could be a potentiality because proof of stake, they might want influence over the protocol, especially if you have large business models on it. So I think that is somewhere a little bit more in the unbiased section. So yeah, I do expect large business models to create demand for this token if they onboard big significant entities because they will want influence over the protocol. And major onboards with China news. All right, so that is low market cap. It is not fine. Usually I get that one early. It's not a super low market cap. It's 175 million diluted at 360 million. So it's not super small, but it is there is opportunity there with the size because it's not super small, but it is not super big either. And whether there's fees that burn the tokens in the future, that is something up to the validators. They can implement that if they want, and that is in my opinion, always a good thing. All right, so for the summary of this project, low market cap with accomplished CEO, I put no. Early social media, I also put no. And live niche, I put yes. The pros and cons. It is an enterprise-focused team with experience, large market, extremely large market. So, they might not even be rubbing shoulders, even though, it's not, a super unique idea. Bear market prices, okay? So that is another pro, is that we are in a bear market. The cons, it is not the only L1. There's a lot of competition. Now, it's up to you guys to think about how this works, but L1s, there's a huge, massive market for L1s. But this project, there's many L1s. There's a lot of competition. There's DOT, there's ADA, there's AVAX. The list goes on and on. There's Telos. And it goes on and on and on. There's a lot of L1s. Well, DOT has L1s on top of it. It is actually a layer 0. It's not like the rest of these. A lot of people don't understand that. But anyways, there's a lot of L1s. And so, like those environments, they will be competing for space. But at the same time, the market is extremely large. I think it's like 400 trillion. All right, so that is the summary of that. All right, guys, so if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I try to give unbiased, accurate information running through the model to get an accurate output so that I could correlate to the highest ROIs possible in the crypto space. And eventually this model will move to software. So I won't have to do it manually. I can have it software do this. All right, guys. But if you want to see how this develops over time, if you want to, if you believe that this can correlate, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys with the next one.